dissociation. We were talking about a few things here, and people have triggers that are embedded in them. We may have this from various different stimulus in our environment. As we become more entrenched in our thinking, we're going to develop triggers just kind of naturally through our own uh, thought processes. But there are intentional ways to exploit this in people, and certainly this is something that's been heavily exploited by the defense and intelligence community. And this is the nature of our circle, clearly. And uh, I was talking about how many times do I meet, um, somebody. It's a lot of times it's been females in my life who I've learned how to fact find them very quickly. From my perspective, what are you doing next to me? I'm working stuff that you can't even begin to comprehend the nature of the classification and how it works, how deeply embedded in this thing I am. And a lot of these guys choose to operate in a way in which it's easier for them to not understand the fact that that's what they're doing. And it's been told to me so many times, it's really kind of staggering to me to think about this, because I always see as somebody that I want to help. And it's a fine line for me, because it's like, is it easier for me to just let them stay asleep and let them come back and do it all? Because they were certainly, in most cases, and certainly in many cases, it's been something that they did. There was a information transfer that was beneficial for the public. I was following my heart to go through with this from where I'm coming from in order to get the job done. It's always what it boils down to. And, these guys will tell me straight up, I know that we're doing this right now, and it's easier for me to go back to sleep. In a nutshell, to paraphrase what they'll say, that has been a recurring theme for me with over 10 women in my life and a few of the guys that I've worked with. And so we know that this is what's going on, but it's a trip. It's a trip to be out here and work stuff like this. And some of the other people that I've run into have been right there on camera for you guys. So you're talking about guys who work with infrared signal intelligence gathering, stuff like that over the horizon radar. You've heard me talk to NSA human implant designer, all of these other things. And so we're doing the best that we can on like a real limited kind of on the fly type of methodology, and it's raw. That's how we've always done it. I'll send some of my videos to somebody like any given producer out there for these different videos that they do, and they're talking about all this stuff, and I was like, man, do you have anybody who you can see them holding their device and telling helicopters what to do, domestic operations and stuff? Can you show that? And they choose to stick their head right back in the sand. And so it's difficult for us, because those are the default psychological triggers that the media and other things have embedded in the collective psyche. And so one of the most important things is for individuals who have really been involved in secret projects, really have all of these secret ties, they can really show, hey, here's this mountain of evidence that's bona fide. You can go look this up anytime. And nobody has all the answers here. That's why it's always been so important to put the pieces of the puzzle together, regardless if you're across the pond or, down under or wherever you're at. And, this is a collective effort in the human species right now to overcome this artificial system. From my perspective, that's what I have covered. That's what I'm working on currently. And to do that from a spiritual aspect, or to be able to do that from a heart-centered base, is very important. That's where it's going to get us through. But to get back to my point, when you have people that have really been through this relate their own personal experiences and show how this stuff has been globally implemented, why are the testimonies of these people who have been through this on an individual basis important? Because we can say, hey, look, they're doing this to everybody now. Wake the fuck up, please. I'm trying to help you. And you don't want to be self-righteous about this. You have so many things to balance against this. And God damn it, if you could just get a thank you instead of saying, man, this guy's fucking nuts, or whatever it is, fuck you. We've infiltrated so many of these different factions that have been here to do this evil work on earth and put it right there in front of you. And the more that we succumb to not acknowledging that, the more powerful that becomes. And so it's just tug of war with this energetic processes that call it what you want. It's expressed on so many different levels. We have to do it. We can do it up here in the higher vibrations, but there's people down here. There's people you got to straddle down here and try to pick them up, and you can bridge those worlds together with the balancing of your energy, and thus the manifestive result becomes very tangible. And so another thing is that how they will specifically refine bloodlines to facilitate unique character attributes into them based on generally, call it the sign that they're born under. And in my own personal experience, what really helped me wake up was I had seen my previous relationships, so many of which have a high level connection back to DARPA, NRL, CIA, DIA. You pretty much named the freaking agency, NASA. I can show you somebody in my life that I spend a vast amount of time with that have senior scientists there. Develop this, develop that, blah, 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 blah. Story of my life and all my friends' lives. It's real for us. It's what we live. And so it's kind of secondary to think, oh, I'm not looking for likes on my fucking Facebook page or YouTube or whatever the medium may be, because it's really irrelevant personally, but it does become a factor when the act of acknowledgement begins to grow. The system begins to deteriorate even more. So that's important. But when I begin to see how the relationships that I was in were targeted for my own energy being harnessed to create with, this really took me back and was like, whoa. It took a very senior member of the Defense Department to contact me. The illegitimate daughter of Senator John Stennis contacts me, asks me to come up to Montana to meet with her. And she had relations with a guy named Randy Garrett. According to her, I am unable to confirm that personally. And what I know about Randy Garrett is he is an oversight of artificial intelligence for National Security Agency. He's a project manager for DARPA. And he's a investor, large shareholder, and intricately involved in space-based operations in conjunction with artificial intelligence for Northrop Grumman. We have had that organization themselves, the company, the corporation, represented in individuals through family ties at our previous conference. This is another link into that. And we see that the work that they're involved in is heavily involved with our research. And so that's very important to note. But what she really wanted to tell me was this manifestive quality that we have in these ancient traditions. She's highly cleared NSA, DARPA, both of those. And the information that I've vetted it all through my own personal experience, and it has all turned out to be true. So what she said initially to me, she's a doctor and many other things, resonated with me, but I still haven't explored the full potential of that. And that really does get into human sexual energy, creative ability, how that works, and ultimately how to really glitch the shit out of this artificial system that has positioned itself in such a way in which it's just a feeding frenzy on this type of energy around the globe today. We see this throughout, and it's coming through the media. It's coming through all these different outlets, the music and all these different things, and it's an influence that's underlying it all to continue to generate this feeding frenzy. Call it what you want. Think of it whatever resonates with you. But that meant she told me. Keep in mind who I'm talking about here. The illegitimate daughter of a now deceased senator that has a NASA installation named after him in Louisiana that is, bigger than all that you can see around you right now. It's huge. Go outside and look around, and times that by like 10, you're looking at that size of this NASA installation, named after Senator John Stennis. What does she tell me? Many things, but the time in which we are most powerful in order to create is the time of a simultaneous orgasm between man and woman. The cyclical occurrences that between man and woman is such that a woman's energy is absorptive. It allows things to come into it, things attached to it, it brings things in. And then you have the ejaculatory and phallic energy of the male. This will bring out the energy to have a manifestive result in the environment. Guess what, guys? Ancient traditions embedded in every myth and legend from every culture around the world are based on this. It's highly classified information within the Defense Department, how they use it today. And so, wow, what is that all about? We talk about bloodlines and pairing of marriage and all this. Those rituals that you may see in a movie or whatever around this round table. Yeah, you can flip it upside down, do it satanically, fear-based, all that kind of stuff. That's like black magic. They literally do those types of things. Or you can do this in an organic sense. And this glitches the system, guys. This is like an awesome thing. And what a profound thing to even begin to experience or realize in your own situation. To begin to do that, keep a pure heart with this is very powerful. And I could go on and on about the different aspects of this, but I think I just want to cut it right there. I don't want to ramble, but I hope that a little bit of that information gets out there to somebody to help them, because it helps us all, simply.